Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this month, August's IAB MENA Masterclass, a session where you get to learn from colleagues and peers in the industry about a topic that hopefully you find very interesting. And today I'm very excited that we've got Chain Reaction talking to us about implementing Gemini AI through your systems, your performance, and to improve the work that you do on behalf of your clients. So looking forward to hearing about that. For those of you who don't know about what the IAB MENA is all about, just to give you a little brief introduction. So we're a non-profit organization which has led by members. We have now, in fact, over 65 different companies within the MENA region as members of the organization. And we focus on bringing the industry together to share best practices, to create best practices, and to help develop the ecosystem throughout MENA. So we do a number of different initiatives, both for our members and the industry at large, including the one that you're at today, the Member MENA Masterclass. So the idea here is that we bring together the industry to allow our members the opportunity to share information and knowledge that they have that they believe is useful for the industry to help rise the whole industry's expertise and skills, as a region and as an industry. So a couple of rules that we have for this so that you know what to expect. We don't allow any sales narratives or sales pitch decks, any promotional materials of any sort. There's plenty of opportunity in the industry for that. We don't pay any of the speakers, for example. This is very much based on merit about the topic and the interest for the industry. We don't allow any negative perspectives on anyone in the market or any company within the market. So we don't discuss any of those within these forums. Very much the idea here is to present future-facing views, proactive ideas, content that explores industry challenges or opportunities, such as, for example, the one that you're going to hear about today, and any shareable information, so how to be better at something. So, for example, one of the earlier ones was about how to present data in an interesting and engaging way, and that was led by Group M in that particular instance. So a number of different organizations come forward on a monthly basis to share this knowledge with you, and we thank them for that. And in this case, as I say, we very much thank Chain Reaction, who will be taking us through roughly 45 minutes or thereabouts of information as it relates to implementing Gemini AI. As I know from what people have said to me, and certainly from my own point of view, I'm very interested to see what they've got to share. They have a number of speakers from their organization sharing their knowledge with you today on this, and actually taking you through some case studies and some individual demonstrations as well. So very keen to get started on that. So enough from me. I'll hand over to the Chain Reaction team to introduce themselves and take you through the rest of the session. These sessions are recorded, so please be aware of that, and they are available within a few days on our YouTube channel, which you can obviously search IAB MENA on YouTube. All these sessions are available to view amongst other topics of interest that you might find there. So over to you, Ritvik. Please feel free to add any questions into the chat or ask any questions towards the end.
Thank you so much for the introduction, Ian. Hi, everyone. My name is Ritvik, and I'm representing Chain Reaction along with my colleagues, Hazim, Mary, and Sarah, who will all be contributing in today's session in different aspects, different demonstrations, and use cases. Today's topic will be basically about discussing how we can leverage some of the powers of Gemini large language model and improve any website-related capabilities or features by using Gemini's features in Google Tag Manager and injecting and improving websites. And we'll see a couple of demos and a few use cases throughout the session today. Moving on, so for the first part of the session, we'll briefly discuss about the concept of rapid prototyping with Google Tag Manager and Gemini. Basically, before we dive into that, a bit about myself. My name is Ritvik. I lead the data and analytics team at Chain Reaction in Dubai. I love traveling, and I was in Norway recently to the world's northernmost distillery in Lengen, Norway. Apart from that, I have been involved in numerous data and analytics transformation projects across different industries, mainly in the GCC region, UAE, Saudi Arabia, and Jordan. I'm also an organizer of Major Camp Dubai, and I love to learn new stuff on almost daily basis, Gemini being one of those topics. So, talking about Gemini, what's Gemini? I believe everyone by now has some understanding of large language model. ChatGPT was quite popular, has been popular for over 1.5 years by this time. And we have seen so many large language models pop up in the last 1 year. One of the most interesting one, in my opinion, is Gemini. Not because it's coming from Google, that's definitely a benefit, but it allows you to integrate with a large ecosystem of Google products, especially relevant to data and analytics, and we'll briefly touch on those aspects as well. But to give you a brief overview of what Gemini is, it's basically a large language model which has a super huge token context window. In essence, that basically means the number of words it can process in a prompt. So it can basically process up to 1 million token or remember a context of 1 million words when responding to your query. So that's super large. It also provides easy integration capabilities with BigQuery in the data and analytics ecosystem, especially working with Google Analytics 4. BigQuery is commonly used to store and analyze analytics data, and its integration with Gemini-related capabilities basically is as easy as turning on a simple add-on to BigQuery capabilities to analyze and extract information from your data, be it tasks like classification, segmentation of audiences, and so on. So that's convenient. Talking about convenience, Gemini also has convenient and easy to use APIs, not only to be able to use on server-side scripting, but also client-side scripting as well. So they also have a JavaScript SDK, which makes it much easier to integrate and leverage Gemini APIs in Google Tag Manager. And we'll see a couple of examples of that as well today. What's Google Tag Manager? I believe that is a very specific tool used by technical marketeers to cut the bridge between developers and marketeers in a typical organization. It allows marketing teams to quickly place any marketing pixel, Google Analytics related tags, any custom piece of code that would have otherwise taken a dedicated code release or deployment by your IT or technical team members could now happen within a matter of minutes through Google Tag Manager. So for those who don't know what Google Tag Manager is, it's basically a Google product that allows you to inject and upload custom pieces of code to alter the behavior of your website or to capture any user-related information that may be needed for essential marketing purposes. Updates done in Google Tag Manager are quite real time. So as soon as you make changes and publish those changes, your changes are live on your website in almost a few seconds. It's a powerhouse for digital marketeers because everything related to Google Analytics, Google Ads, Facebook ads, and so on is kind of controlled through Google Tag Manager in most organizations. They don't necessarily doesn't have to use Google Tag Manager. There are alternative tag managers out there as well, but Google Tag Manager is the most common one out there. It also has the flexibility to provide version control. So if you publish something that you think is incorrect or shouldn't be there, you can revert back to previous versions. So it's a great way to maintain and manage versions as well. And for today's demo, what we'll really look into is how we can leverage GTM's quick real-time updates capability and combine with some use cases that could help and support web user experiences for marketing, digital marketing enrichment, and how we can support your overall user experience. The concept is quite simple. We call it, or I rather call it GTM hacks. Essentially, we will simply leverage Gemini APIs, pass in some context, some prompts about the page that a user is viewing, and use Google Tag Manager to send that information to Gemini, basically ask Gemini to process that information and get the results back and display back to the user on their website in a user-friendly interface, or enrich a new feature, create a new feature, and so on. So today's demo will basically show you how we can add a simple summarization feature on a typical web page through some kind of a real-time prototyping. And being able to do this kind of prototyping yourself through Google Tag Manager essentially also allows you to run A/B tests on some ideas or features that you may have, which would have otherwise taken weeks, if not months, to be delivered by a typical development team through a sprint development cycle. There is definitely some prerequisites required for integrating Gemini-related APIs with Google Tag Manager. Some understanding of JavaScript is essential. I do understand that this is a bit technical for many traditional marketeers, but when it comes to digital marketing, I believe, and when working with data and analytics, some knowledge of JavaScript is really helpful, and I encourage everyone to pick up a thing or two on your weekends or so on to learn more about JavaScript and how the entire website and page loading process works. What we'll basically do today is simply load a test HTML page, inject a CTA, request some prompts to Gemini, get some summarization, and display the information about the summary of the page to the user in kind of a user-friendly way. Of course, I'm not the best designer out there, but this is for a demo purpose, and I will show you how that really works. So that's the demo. What we have behind the scene at the moment is a Google Tag Manager setup utilizing Google Cloud Function, which is a Google Cloud product, which allows you to write your custom scripts. At the moment, what we have here is a pre-configured script that we configured before the demo, before the call today, to request some information and request content of a page and pass it to Gemini and ask them to summarize it and get the request back for displaying a few essential summaries. So if I can minimize my screen and simply dive into that demo to show you Google Tag Manager here. So that's a typical Tag Manager setup. If I look at my tags here, I'm just going to look at one example today because we may not have more time. I had more planned for today, but here is an example where I am requesting a prompt to Gemini for summarizing some content that we'll see in a moment on a web page. And in response, whenever we get a response from Gemini through Google Cloud Function, we will simply show those summary statistics or summarization response to the user for an improved web experience. And to take this forward, here is my test web page, a dummy news network web page talking about seasonal fruit benefits. The page is quite straightforward and simple. What I will do now is simply publish my Google Tag Manager tag that I have prepared here. It's kind of a hands-on demo, which we will discuss in a bit. So as soon as I have published the tag through Google Tag Manager, essentially what's going to happen is whenever a user visits a page like this, the content of the page will be sent to Gemini for summarization or extracting a few key insights about that piece of content. So if I reload the page, so my version previously has been published, I hope that I get some CTA appearing here on the page, and I do have a CTA here. The CTA was only shown when Gemini had actually responded with a successful response about some key statistics or insights about the content of the page. And here is a new feature that would have taken kind of a week or so for the typical IT and tech teams to implement. And with Google Tag Manager, we basically are extracting few key insights about the page articles using Gemini. That's just an example of extracting insights from the content. Similarly, we can introduce new features about search capabilities, searching among all available articles about piece of information that you may want to go through and so on. Those topics around searches and retrieving information is also an interesting use case for Gemini. Basically, through Gemini, we can restrict its knowledge base on a certain given information and only ask Gemini to query and respond based on that information. We also have a second demo to show that use case, where, for example, we use it internally here, as you see on my screen, where we have a web page integrated with Gemini. It's basically a chatbot, and what it basically does is that it constructs BigQuery queries to fetch data from a BigQuery database and basically provide insights on your marketing spend and performance to clients. So we can ask question to Gemini about any specific set of data which is tailored to your use case. So here, for example, I can ask about, can you give me a breakdown of ad impressions for H1 this year? And I should have an answer for that. So I will also try to show you what's happening behind the scene. Essentially, a query was constructed by our kind of algorithm to Gemini, to BigQuery, basically using Google Cloud Function. And this query is executed on BigQuery to get the actual response. And sometimes we do have, it has a capability to autocorrect itself. So in case Gemini doesn't construct the query properly, we have a mechanism implemented here to correct itself. So you would see that it took 4 attempts to respond back. Attempt 1 failed due to a reason on incorrect query or incorrect type of response that wasn't well understood. It kept on correcting that response until it got the actual proper answer. And when we got the proper answer, it was kind of displayed in the chat interface to the user as well. So what we are doing as a next step for this is basically we're embedding this web page in Looker Studio for clients to have easy access to their performance data, and they don't really have to swift through Excel files and so on, and they can simply ask questions and get the answers they want, which they would have typically asked someone else or an analyst to get the answers from. So it cuts down the bridge in time from that aspect. So what's the advantage of using and implementing Google Tag Manager plus Gemini-based approach to improve user experiences? Well, we tried implementing some hacks similar to what you saw previously on a mobile web page for an edtech startup. And by making simple changes, simply by injecting a few CTAs, through Google Tag Manager, we were able to run A/B tests and see significant uplift in conversion rates. So if you don't want to wait for your IT team to actually spend a few weeks or months to implement a few changes and test your uplifts, I highly recommend trying your concepts out early on through Google Tag Manager and test what works, what doesn't work. With that, I hand over to my colleague Hazim Abdeen for his section of the presentation.
All right, perfect. Thank you, Ludwig. That was very insightful. Okay, can you let me share my screen?
Yes, you can share it.
Okay, perfect. Hello, everyone. My name is Hazim Abdeen. I will be talking about revolutionizing personalized content using Gemini AI. So a little bit about personalization here. Okay, so a little bit about myself first. I am an analytics manager at Chain Reaction. I have 6 years of experience in analytics and in marketing. I have worked with the different industries like educational industries, telecommunication, e-commerce, and other kinds of industries. You can connect with me on LinkedIn, and we can have a chat if you like my ideas and my use cases. Okay, so we'll start. Firstly, I will be talking about personalized content and what is the benefits of personalization. And then we can go deeper into this by using AI to personalize our content on our website. We will look into a use case of personalizing a learning experience, which is an online course, and how we can personalize that online course to better fit our users' needs. Okay, so starting with the benefits of personalization, we can all agree that personalization has a lot of benefits for the users. It's proven that it increases user engagement, user satisfaction, and retention, and conversion rates. So we have some statistics here about the enhancement on, for example, the engagement by 50%, the user retention and satisfaction by 77%. And even it enhances the learning outcomes. So whenever the course or any subject that a user is learning is personalized for that user, we see a 75% more likeliness of that user to understand and apply the learning concepts in real world scenarios. Okay, now how Gemini and how generative AI in general can help us in personalization. Here the idea is that I have 3 different pages. I mean, it's the same page, but it's for 3 different users. So we have user 1 and user 2 and user 3. All of them are looking at the same page with the same title, but each one of them is looking at a different kind of content, which is a little bit tailored to that specific user's needs. So if the user need to look at the article in a specific way, Gemini can help us in personalizing that content piece to better fit that user needs. So, okay, let's dive into our use case here, which is an online courses platform. And the idea of that online courses platform is that it uses Gemini to create their courses. And how that is done, we will go deeper into this. The idea is that each course content is tailored to the user needs based on our knowledge of that user. So if we know a lot of details about that user, then Gemini can generate a different course content that would be tailored to that user. So let's go into an example. Here, for example, we have a course about marketing analytics. And we have 2 sample users that are viewing that same course. The first user has some features. The first user, for example, here is good with marketing and has good marketing background. They are familiar with Power BI for data visualization, and they lack some SEO skills or some SEO knowledge. So in that case, our course would understand this user, and it would first skip the basic training or the basic concepts of marketing, because our user already knows everything about marketing and has a very good marketing background. And all examples in that course would be using Power BI instead of using any other tool that the user does not know. And we will dig deeper into the SEO concepts because the user does not know a lot of SEO. So that's the course content for the first user. The second user has different attributes. So he does not know anything about marketing. He does not have any marketing background. He has familiarity with Looker Studio and Tableau for data visualization, which is different than here we have Power BI. And he has good analytics background, but only for finance data, not for marketing data. So here also the same course would be tailored to that user to focus more on marketing concepts and give all of the examples using Looker Studio or Tableau, and explain and compare between the difference between finance data and marketing data, and so on, so that it fits better for that specific user. Okay, so how can we implement such course so that we can have at the end a full course that is tailored to each user? Okay, the first step is obviously we will have to develop some material for that course. We will have to have the material development, what are the chapters, what are the topics that we will cover in that course. And then we will have to collect some user data to understand the user and know how to better give him the content that he needs. And then we would integrate all of that with Gemini, and putting it all together, we will have a full course at the end. So let's dive into the first part, which is the course material development. And here the idea is that we will develop the course material in a way that is flexible and that is dynamic, so that Gemini can add the content from its side whenever needed. So first step is to decide the topics and the concepts of that course. And then Gemini, we will give Gemini the instructions on each topic. So we will have a list of topics about this course. The first topic, we will not give the material of it. We will give instructions to Gemini on how Gemini can explain that topic to any user. So we will give some instructions. We will give Gemini also some material about each topic. So the material development will be videos, demos, images, graphics, and so on. We would also provide Gemini with this material so that it can use it to explain the content of that course to the user. And at the end, we have some functions development. Whenever Gemini needs, maybe we can have some functions that can be used by Gemini, for example, to get some data from an API or so on. So to give an example about the material development of the course, we will have the first step is to just develop the course syllabus. What are the chapters? What are the topics? And we will have to list them all. So here, for example, our chapter 1 is what is marketing, and then we have some topics around it, what is data analysis, and some topics, and so on. And then the second step is to give the instructions to the model for each one of these topics. So we'll provide a detailed description about each topic and what the user should learn after taking this topic, so that Gemini can understand that this topic is, for example, we have in marketing, we have mentioning the 4 Ps, mentioning some marketing terminologies, and so on. And at the end, we will have a full course. So the full course would be a list of topics, list of material for each topic, and list of system instructions for each topic, and then a list of questions, this is one of the important ones. We will give Gemini a list of questions that the user should be able to answer after taking this topic, so that Gemini can know that can the user answer this question or not, and if he can, then they can skip that question or they can skip that topic, and if they cannot, then it will explain it in more details. And at the end, list of functions to be used if needed. Okay, step number 2 is collecting user data. And here we have a lot of sources to get some user data. We have some explicit and implicit sources. Some sources can be user registration or a specific survey that the user can take before enrolling into the course, and some behavioral data on past behavior of that user. And the types can be different. We have demographics, geographics, behavioral, experience, and so on. So we will go into much details in this example. Here we have an example about a user with his data and his full profile, so that Gemini can understand what this user knows. So here we have a user named Hazem, which is same as my name, and his education, for example, he has marketing degree, he has this kind of experience, he has these certificates, these key skills, and some familiar tools. For example, he knows Looker Studio, he knows Power BI, he knows Google Tag Manager, and so on. And this is important to know and push it to Gemini, so Gemini can understand this user and his knowledge, so that it can better tailor the content of the course to that specific user. Okay, and at the end, here we have the integration with the model. So now our model understand the course and understand all of the topics in the course, understand all of the questions that the user should be able to answer after taking this course. And the model knows the user as well. So the model understands each user specifically and can tailor the content of the course to that specific user. So at the end, we will have the best learning content for each user. So if we can visualize it, it would look something like this. So we have the user data here, and we have the course topics and all of the course material here. And Gemini would be able to connect everything and generate the best course for that specific user. And that's the use case for the course. For sure, Gemini and generative AI has a lot of other use cases. I mean, there's no limit here. We can use the same ideas into a news website, for example, to just show news to the user based on what he already knows. So if the user does not know specific details or specific information, we can give it to him when reading a specific news content about that subject. We can use it in niche blogs, we can use it in health and fitness apps, and in a lot of other areas. Okay, so that's it from my side, and I will, if you have any questions, I think we can go to them at the end. For now, I will move to Mary, which is my colleague. She will be talking about her subject now.
Thank you, Hazem.
Okay, you can share your screen.
Okay. Are you able to see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining. So today I'll be talking about how you can leverage Gemini AI for enhancing the customer retention and brand value. A little bit about myself. I'm Miri Shanatankam. I work as a data analyst in Chain Reaction Dubai, and my areas of interest are data analysis, visualization, customer analytics, business intelligence, and machine learning. And I have recently published one of my research papers on customer churn analysis. So if that's something interests you, or if you want to read more about it, please feel free to check it out on IEEE Explore Digital Library. Also, this is the QR code you can scan, and feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. So today I'll be talking about different use cases of how you can use Gemini AI to enhance the customer retention and boost the brand value. I'll be focusing more on sentiment analysis, and I'll be also showing you a demo of how you can use Gemini AI to get sentiment from a customer feedback form. Let's dive into the topic. So with all the advanced technology, the advanced machine learning and natural language processing capabilities, Gemini AI will help you to get more deeper insights of your customer, their behavior, the preferences, the interest, the sentiments, etc. So broadly, we can categorize the use cases into three main areas. One would be predictive analytics. So basically, Gemini AI can analyze a large volume of data within no time, which makes it an ideal tool for predictive analytics. It can uncover the hidden patterns within the data, know the relation between the data points, which can be eventually used to analyze or forecast the future trends, especially when it comes to sales, to analyze the sales trends, also to predict the customers that are likely to churn, etc. And second would be sentiment analysis, basically to know the customer sentiments towards your product, your services, and the brand as a whole. And the third would be personalization, which is mainly to generate more personalized content for your customers, and also to analyze the customer behavioral data, or to analyze more about the customer interest and give some product or content recommendations accordingly. So as I mentioned, I'll be talking more on sentiment analysis, and let's start with the basics. What is sentiment analysis? It is also known as opinion mining. So basically, we are classifying a text into a positive, negative, or neutral, analyzing the emotional tones within the text. So sentiment analysis is an application of NLP, or natural language processing, which enables the computer to understand and comprehend the human language. So as part of text pre-processing, Gemini AI uses some of the techniques called tokenization. where the text is broken down to smaller units called tokens, a lemmatization where the words are converted to its root form, and stop word removal, which basically means the words like and or that doesn't add much value to the text are removed for better analysis. Gemini AI uses other techniques as well, but these are a few of them. And apart from these, other applications of NLP include text summarization, content generation, theme extraction, basically to get the theme from the text, etc. Talking about Gemini AI and its text processing capabilities, as I mentioned, it's used in creative writing and for text summarization. Also to describe the media asset, basically you can input a video or image to Gemini AI and ask it to give you a caption for the image or to describe what you're seeing on the video, and can also be used to generate content on the chatbots and also to translate between the languages. Since Gemini AI supports multiple languages, it can we can use Gemini AI for translation process as well. So it's a beyond text multimodal sentiment analysis, which means it can handle various inputs, not just text. It can handle videos, images, and speech or audio as well. So coming to video analysis, Gemini AI can analyze videos and give you the sentiment. Basically, it analyzes the facial expression in the video, the body language, the tone of the speech, etc., to give you the sentiment. And similarly, with the image analysis, it can detect the expressions conveyed in the images, the facial expressions, and these are helpful when it comes with in the product review form along or on the comments of a social media platform. And Gemini AI is also a very scalable solution because it can analyze large volume of data within no time and with more enhanced accuracy. And it's a versatile as well because it is not specific to any specific industry, be it marketing industry or hospitality or aviation, can be used in any industry and for various applications. So talking about the application, let's see how it can be used to enhance customer retention. So one would be the area of voice of customer or VOC programs, basically to analyze data from multiple touch points as in the customer feedback, surveys, reviews, to know where the customer is finding it difficult or what are the customer pain points. And we can also see a trend analysis to see if there is any particular time frame where we started getting a negative sentiment from the customers, or sometimes we see a mixed sentiment because sometimes people are happy with the product, but they're unhappy with the customer service, etc. And second would be the customer service, basically to categorize and prioritize the support tickets. And so you can ask Gemini AI to analyze the text and give you labels like negative sentiment, positive sentiment, or you can ask Gemini AI to give you a sentiment called high priority or low priority based upon the text. So if the text has something like urgent as soon as possible, or if it shows a lot of dissatisfaction from the customer side, it can be assigned to high priority and can be assigned to a more senior staff or more experienced staff so that it gets resolved easily. In this way, this will improve the customer satisfaction. So the whole process is streamlined and the response time is improved. And the third would be product development. Basically know which features are in demand, which features users are using the most, or so in this way it helps to improve the existing product features and also to know what is in demand. So back in 2010, there was an app launched called Bourbon, which was not a successful app. So the founders of the app were able to figure out that even though the app wasn't a successful one, there was one particular feature which was used by all of its users, or which was in demand, which was a photo sharing. So they revamped the Bourbon app to another app which is more focused on photo sharing feature, which is now called as Instagram. So that's how back in 2010, without all the Gemini AI and stuff, with the available data and available resources, they were able to identify what is in demand, and they were able to revamp their unsuccessful app to Instagram, which is a successful one now. So that's how we have to like leverage Gemini AI. Now we have all the advanced technologies, Gemini AI, so we have to make a use of it to the maximum to take your product or business to the next level. And these are like 3 different examples or sentences which I have tested with Gemini AI. So I have given one sentence which shows extreme frustration or dissatisfaction, one with a neutral expression where it said product met basic expectation, and one which said it was an outstanding product. So I have given these 3 sentences to Gemini AI for testing, and it has correctly classified and categorized it as negative, neutral, and positive sentiments. Now I'll take you through the demo. So to see how I have done it. So this is the basic configuration. I have a Google form, a product feedback form, which is linked to a Google Sheet. So whatever response I give on the form is on Google Sheet, and I'm communicating to Gemini AI through app script. So I'm asking Gemini AI to analyze the text from a particular column on the Google Sheet and give me back the response as a label, positive or negative or neutral, on the Google Sheet itself. And I have connected this Google Sheet to a Locus Studio. So let me go to the Google form now. Yeah. Are you able to see my Google form?
Yes.
Okay. So here, for example, I'm giving the rating as 5, and I have a question. Please share your feedback on the product. So here, I'm just giving it as amazing product, which is a product positive feedback. And okay, how likely are you recommending? I'll just give 5, and I'm submitting the form. So now we have submitted the form. So if I go to the Google Sheet, which is linked with this product feedback form, I can see the response which I have just entered, the amazing product, and the column was empty, but now it has been filled by Gemini AI. So column A to D is directly coming from the Google form, but the column E, which you see here, the sentiment column, the positive, is basically the response from Gemini AI. So that's how you can make use of Gemini AI to classify your feedback as positive or negative. So even here, it's very difficult for me to go through each cell and see how many positive or negative feedback I got. So for that, I have connected this Google Sheet with the Locus Studio report. So where I can see how many total responses I received, out of which how many was negative, how many was positive, and how many was neutral. So this is the sentiment monitoring report, a basic report where it shows how many responses I received and the feedback sentiment distribution and the overall rating. In this way, you can keep track of your product from the customer feedback. So going back to my presentation, I'll also show you how I have given the app script. It's not the complete script, but the few lines from the code. So here you can see text where I have mentioned label the sentiment as positive, negative, or neutral without any explanation and special characters. So basically, here is where I'm telling Gemini AI to classify the text as positive, negative, or neutral. And also I'm telling which format I wanted. I don't want any explanation, but just the label. And I'm asking it to take the text from feedback. So feedback variable is basically the column that has the customer feedback. Please share your feedback on the product. So from that column, I'm asking Gemini AI to take the text, analyze it, and give me back the label as positive or negative. So now now we can see some of the use cases of how we can use Gemini AI to boost the brand value. So basically for sentiment monitoring, when it comes to the social media, Gemini AI helps you to identify the emerging trends surrounding the brand. So nowadays you can see people are mentioning the brand or with the hashtags. With Gemini AI, you can see how or what people are talking about around your brand by the hashtags or the mentions. And is it creating a positive buzz or negative buzz, and what the topic is about, what themes they're talking about, etc. And also when it comes to brand perception, Gemini AI helps you to identify the key influencers who resonate with your target audience, and you can leverage them to promote your products or services, etc. And also when it comes to content generation, Gemini AI can help you create more engaging or more visually appealing content for your blog posts, for social media, and for marketing, etc. And even for competitor analysis, you can use Gemini AI. So it helps you to know where you stand in the market. It gives you a competitor analysis, the sentiment about your brand as well as your competitors. And talking about marketing strategy, you can use Gemini AI to create more personalized content. You can use it even for A/B testing to create different ad copies and see how each customer segments are responding to it. So if you have more engaging content, it will improve the customer engagement and increase conversion rates. And also you can create some templates so that you will have a consistency in brand voice across all the channels. So that being said, I'm just summing up everything here, what we have discussed. So we have all the insights from the sentiment analysis. Now we have to convert it to some actionable strategies. Now we have more informed decision making, or we have some data-driven decision making, and we can use Gemini to enhance the customer experience. Basically, when you know what are the customer pain points, you can address them promptly, and you can have more optimized marketing strategy, because with the personalized content, your campaign will be more effective and you will have more ROI. And for product innovation, just I mentioned the story of the bourbon, how it got revamped to Instagram. You know what are in demand and can work accordingly. And also for risk mitigation. So in case you see there are some negative sentiments coming along about your product or your brand, you can act at a very, very early stage, which saves your brand name and brand reputation. So that's all about my presentation. Now I have my colleague Sarah with me. Over to you, Sarah.
Thank you, Mary. That was very insightful. Can I just share my screen? Okay. Okay. Hello, everyone. Thank you for staying with us. As we reach the final part of our presentation, I'm going to talk about the personalization of loyalty programs using Gemini AI. But before I dive deep into my topic, I'd like to introduce myself. 1 second. Okay. My name is Sarah Abu Alam, and I'm a junior data analyst currently working in Chain Reaction. I hold a bachelor's degree in computer science, which provided me with a strong foundation to my career. It also gave me the opportunity to explore various industry facets, which ultimately guided me to my passion, which is data analysis. My experience mainly consists of e-commerce, B2B, and B2C tracking, conducting UI/UX audits, and translating data into compelling visualization. I've also added this QR code you can scan if you're interested on connecting with me on LinkedIn. Now that you know a bit about me, I want to tell you the topics we're going to cover in our presentation today. I'm going to start off by explaining what loyalty programs are, the different types, and their impact. Then we're going to discuss in details our main use case for today, which is the fitness app. After that, we're going to examine different user profiles within our use case. And finally, we're going to briefly mention other use cases that can benefit from AI-generated loyalty programs. So, what are loyalty programs? Loyalty programs are structured marketing strategies designed to encourage customers to continue purchasing from a brand by offering rewards, incentives, or benefits. What is the impact of loyalty programs? In other words, what do the numbers say? Did you know that 90% of companies have some sort of loyalty program implemented? This means that loyalty programs are no longer perks, but rather strategic investments. They contribute to an increased revenue growth, higher purchase volume, and they boost shopping continuity. In conclusion, loyalty programs supercharge spending simply because loyal customers spend more frequently. There are different types of loyalty programs, each catering to different businesses and different customers. Points-based programs are programs where customers earn points based on their purchases that they can later redeem for rewards or discounts. Cashback programs are programs where users are offered a percentage of their purchase value back, either as cash or store credit. Gamified programs are programs that incorporate game-like elements, such as badges or challenges to keep users engaged. Membership programs are programs that require customers to pay a fee to join and unlock exclusive rewards and incentives. So now that we know what loyalty programs are, we're going to explore our use case in great detail. Our use case for today is a fitness app called MyFit app. MyFit app is not just any fitness app. It's an application that requires users to pay a fee to be able to unlock personalized workout plans and diet plans. It also gives them access to nutritional guidance and a supportive community where users can interact with each other to ask questions or generally just share their advice. It also partners with local gyms and trainers, and it tracks user devices and monitors them. Before we break down our integration model, I'd like to emphasize that our main focus for today is the AI-generated loyalty program. While MyFit app does provide a personalized workout plan for their users, our focus for today is the loyalty program that acts as an added incentive to help users achieve their fitness goal. That being said, we can now break down our integration model. We have four main components: MyFit app, the database, user devices such as their smartwatch, and Gemini. MyFit app captures essential user data such as their profile, their workout plan, their fitness goals, and their subscription type. It then stores this data into a database. Simultaneously, user devices store user data into the database, such as their historical data and daily data. After that, Gemini AI leverages this combined data set to craft challenges that evolve based on user progress. So, how can the data collected from user devices be utilized by Gemini? Step counts. Step counts, for example, can be used to develop a step count streak challenge or be incorporated in challenges that aim to increase daily step counts. Sleeping data can also be analyzed to encourage users to develop healthier sleeping habits. Workout data. Gemini AI can incorporate different types of exercises in the challenges. Since we can track user performance and exercise durations, we can also analyze heart rate and the calories burned to determine the workout intensity and its effectiveness. We can also use users' location to track how often do they go to the gym and the duration of their visits. So this diagram over here depicts the user interactions within our application. The first flow is the long-term plan, where the user is assigned a workout plan and their diet plans, which helps them achieve their long-term goal. Whereas the second flow depicts the motivational loyalty program. Gemini AI generates weekly challenges that the user can participate in. Once they complete those challenges, they can earn points that they can later redeem for rewards. Now that we have seen how our model works and how our user interacts within our app, we're going to examine two different profiles within our use case. The first profile we have is Robert Ham. Robert Ham is a 32-year-old male who's overweight and wants to lose weight, whereas Stacey Williams, who's a 25-year-old female, has a normal BMI score that is interested in endurance training. For those who are not aware, endurance training is a training that focuses on building stamina. In other words, it aims to keep the user going without getting tired. Now that we have identified the key differences between our users, we're going to see an AI-generated challenge that incorporates the same type of exercise tailored for both users. So this is an example of an AI-generated cycling challenge. If we take a look at Robert's weekly challenge, it requires him to cycle a distance of 20 miles in 1 week on a medium level intensity, whereas Stacey's cycling challenge mainly focuses on her alternating between different intensity levels within a specific time frame. So now that we have seen how our integration model works and how our users interact, and finally an example of an AI-generated challenge that is tailored based on users' data, this concludes our use case for today. Finally, we're going to discuss other use cases that can benefit from generated loyalty programs. The first industry, which is the education industry, could benefit from encouraging students to read more books. If we have a book reading app, AI can generate challenges based on students' reading level, preferred genres and authors, and then can later test them on the books they've read. Food delivery applications can offer personalized meal bundles for users based on their dietary plan and allergies. The travel booking applications. Travel booking applications can do more than just reward users by giving them personalized discounts and upgrades. Travel booking applications can generate personalized travel plans that include guided tours, museums, and booking reservations for restaurants that are based on user preferences and their budget. And finally, the beauty industry can use AI to help their users generate makeup and skincare recommendations based on the user's skin type, skin concern, and finally their undertone. I hope this presentation has been informative, and thank you for staying with us.
Thanks very much to Chain Reaction. Thanks very much to everybody. Looking forward to seeing you all soon.